I never expected Daniel to come home early. He had told me just the night before that he wouldn't be back until Sunday. His parents' anniversary dinner had been moved up, and he was helping them prepare for it all weekend. So when I heard the key turn in the lock, my first thought was that maybe he'd forgotten something. Maybe his phone or a jacket. But then I saw him standing there, frozen in the doorway. The look on his face stopped me cold. His eyes darted from mine to Ethan's, who was still half-dressed and scrambling to pull his shirt over his head. Time seemed to slow down in that moment, as if we were all caught in some surreal pause button of reality. There was no yelling, no dramatic outburst, just silence. Heavy, unbearable silence. Ethan didn't say a word. He didn't even look at Daniel. I could see the panic in his eyes as he fumbled to gather his things, zipping up his pants with shaking hands. He grabbed his keys and phone off the coffee table and rushed past Daniel without making eye contact. The door slammed behind him, leaving only the two of us alone in the apartment that suddenly felt too small to breathe in. Daniel stepped inside and closed the door gently, almost too gently. I braced myself for anger, for shouting, for accusations, but instead, he looked tired. Not just physically exhausted, but emotionally drained, like whatever strength he had left had been siphoned away in that single moment of realization. He took a deep breath and said, "I got stuck in traffic on the way back. Thought I'd surprise you." His voice was steady, almost monotone. "Guess I did." I opened my mouth to say something, anything, but nothing came out. What could I possibly say that would make this better? That would erase what he had just seen? He didn't sit down. He didn't move closer. He just stood there, arms hanging loosely by his sides, eyes locked onto mine. And then he said, "I'm so tired, honestly. Tired of fighting for something that clearly wasn't being fought for in return." His words hit me harder than any scream could have. I could feel the tears building behind my eyes, but I didn't deserve the relief of crying. Not yet. "I loved you," he continued, quieter now. "I really did. I thought about our future every day. Thought about how lucky I was to have found someone I wanted to spend the rest of my life with." That's when he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My heart dropped. I knew what it was before he even opened it. The deep blue fabric, the glint of a diamond catching the light. It was a ring. Our ring. He held it out for a second, staring at it like it was something sacred, something broken. "I was going to ask you this weekend," he said softly. "I had it all planned. Dinner, a walk by the lake, then down on one knee. I thought this would be the happiest moment of my life." He snapped the box shut and slipped it back into his pocket. Then he looked at me again, and I saw something shift in his expression. Not anger, not sadness, just finality. Without another word, he turned toward the door. Just before stepping out, he paused and looked back. "Was he worth it?" he asked. His voice cracked slightly, betraying the composure he had tried so hard to maintain. And then he was gone. I stood there, completely still, the silence pressing down on me like a weight I couldn't lift. The apartment felt empty in a way it never had before, not because Ethan had left, but because Daniel had taken something irreplaceable with him. Something I couldn't get back, no matter how much I wished I could turn back time. In that moment, I realized the worst part wasn't losing Daniel. It was knowing that he had been ready to give me everything, and I had thrown it away. I don't know how long I stood there, staring at the door after Daniel left. It felt like hours, though it couldn't have been more than minutes. The silence in the apartment was suffocating now. No laughter, no music, no familiar clinking of dishes or footsteps padding across the hardwood floors. Just emptiness. Slowly, I sank onto the couch, my hands trembling in my lap. My mind replayed the scene over and over again, each time with a fresh wave of nausea. I could still see the look on Daniel's face, the disbelief, the pain, the quiet devastation. He hadn't screamed or cried or thrown anything. He had just looked at me like he didn't even recognize who I was anymore. And maybe he didn't. I thought about the ring in his pocket, the velvet box that had held something so full of promise, now tainted by my mistake. I imagined what this weekend would have been like if I had waited, if I had resisted the temptation, if I had remembered what really mattered. I could have been waking up to breakfast in bed, hearing him hum in the kitchen, smiling at the nervous way he'd fidget with his sleeves when he was trying to hide how much he cared. Instead, I was sitting alone in the wreckage of everything we built together. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. Ethan's name lit up the screen. I stared at it for a moment before silencing it. I couldn't talk to him. Not now, not ever. Whatever pull I had felt toward him, whatever thrill or novelty, was nothing compared to what I had with Daniel. And I had destroyed it all for something fleeting, something shallow. The guilt clawed at my chest, sharp and relentless. I thought about all the times Daniel had forgiven me for smaller things, forgotten birthdays, missed calls, moments when I was too wrapped up in myself to notice how much effort he put into keeping us strong. But this wasn't something he could forgive. Not easily. Maybe not at all. I went to our bedroom, the one we had painted together last spring, choosing soft gray walls and mismatched furniture that somehow made the space feel like home. His side of the closet still had his favorite hoodie hanging up, sleeves slightly frayed from years of wear. I reached out and touched it, imagining the warmth of his arms around me, the way he used to wrap me in it when we watched movies on rainy nights. I broke down then, collapsed onto the bed, burying my face in his pillow, inhaling the fading scent of a shampoo. The tears came hard and fast, raw and unfiltered. I let them fall without holding back because I deserved every drop of sorrow they carried. I spent the night in that bed, curled beneath the sheets, staring at the ceiling. Sleep never came. Every memory played like a movie I couldn't turn off. Our first kiss under the fireworks on New Year's Eve, the way he always knew how I took my coffee, the late-night talks where we shared dreams of having a family someday. All of it gone. Or worse, tainted. By morning, I had made a decision. I packed a small bag, left the apartment key on the counter. I didn't call Daniel. I knew he needed space. I didn't expect forgiveness. But I also knew I couldn't stay in a place that reminded me so painfully of what I had lost. I moved in with a friend for a while, working through the motions of life, but feeling nothing. I threw myself into work, hoping distraction would dull the ache, but it only made it louder. I kept thinking about Daniel, wondering where he was, if he was sleeping better than I was, if he had started to heal. Weeks passed, then months. One day, I found a letter in my mailbox. No return address. Just my name scrawled in handwriting I recognized instantly. Inside was the velvet box. No note. No explanation. Just the ring, lying inside like a piece of a future that would never happen. I closed the box gently, tears welling in my eyes again. I didn't open it again. Didn't need to. Its presence alone was enough to remind me of everything I had thrown away and of the man who had once loved me enough to plan forever. I don't know if I'll ever stop regretting what I did. I don't know if Daniel will ever find someone who deserves him the way he deserved me. But I do know this. I lost the best part of myself that day. And no matter how many years pass, I'll carry that loss with me forever.